Greetings and salutations. Grace unto you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. This is Wesley Webb, pastor of the Grace Baptist Church in Greater Downtown Metropolitan McBee, South Carolina, and welcome to the Higher Grounds podcast and today's morning minute meditation. Now, I'm interested today in Job chapter 28, verses 1 through 3, where the Bible said, "Surely there is a vein for the silver and a place for gold where they find it. Iron is taken out of the earth, and brass is molten out of the stone. He setteth an end to darkness, and searcheth out all perfection, the stones of darkness and the shadow of death." Now, Job has been speaking since chapter 26, verse number 1, and he continues to do so all the way to the end of chapter 31. And you thought your pastor was long-winded. That said, in our text, in verse number 1, Job starts using the illustration of digging for silver and gold. And then he goes on in verse number 2 and talks similarly about taking iron out of the earth and brass from the stone. So clearly, Job is referencing digging for hidden, valuable, useful treasure for illustrative purposes. Now, notice with me in verse number 3, Job mentions darkness. He setteth an end to darkness, searcheth out all perfection, the stones of darkness and the shadow of death. He setteth an end to darkness. He, in verse number 3, must either refer to the miner, the one doing the digging, or God himself, or it might be the rich man at the end of chapter 25, but I think that's stretching. If it's the miner himself, then Job is saying that the miner will not be stopped by darkness and will continually search for the perfect stones. If it's God, then Job is saying God will eventually bring darkness to an end as he searches for perfection or for growth or maturity. All of that brings me to the statement in verse 3 that I want to direct your attention to. He mentions the stones of darkness. Regardless of how you interpret he in this verse, within the context of verse 3, or within the context of these three verses, there are precious, valuable, useful stones, treasures in the darkness. But they must be mined for. We must dig them out. Think about this. Digging in the darkness. Now, we've been doing a series several months, and then we missed a few months and started it back last month, comparing darkness with depression in our Bible. Could it be that the application we can take from this verse is that there are things hidden in the darkness of our depression, valuable things, precious things, useful things, but we must look for them. We must dig for them, mine for them, if we will discover them. Digging in the darkness of depression for the stones of darkness. Well, that's all for today's Morning Minute Meditation. Y'all have a great day, and remember, it is what it is.